Hello everyone and welcome back to the.universary. Today's case is a small claims matter before the Honorable Judge Sam Meyer in Thurston County, Washington. Ms. Sabrina Fladares is bringing forth a case against Ellie Design Inc., saying that she and her husband took in a couple of wedding bands and essentially wanted to combine, not meld together or melt together, but combine her departed father's wedding ring and her husband's wedding ring. And it didn't go well. Hope you enjoy.
All right. I see the plaintiff and I see DRC has just joined us and the defendants are here in the courtroom. Okay. DRC is apparently simply observing. I will start with the plaintiff, Ms. Is it Fladares? Fladares? You're muted. Are you able to hear me? There we go. Okay. Were you able to reach any resolution?
No.
No. Okay. Do you still wish to proceed forward with the trial?
Yes.
All right. And is it Ely or Eli? Ellie. Thank you. Ellie Design, do you still wish to move forward with the trial?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have you step up here to the table, please. Okay. Ellie Design obviously is the name of the business.
Yes.
How should I address you?
Margaret.
Margaret.
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Fladares, how do I say your name, please?
Fladares.
Doris. Okay. That was, I think, my third choice when I was saying them earlier. All right, Fladares. Okay. Would each of you, plaintiff and defendant, would each of you please raise your right hand? All right, you may put your hands down. Ms. Fladares, this is you're the one who filed the matter. You're the plaintiff, so you go first. Then I will hear from you, Margaret, and I may have questions for one or both of you. I will say I reviewed the exhibits, although of course I didn't review them in depth in advance. I am hopeful. It looks like you both were able to have access to them because there's a response in here. So with that said, Ms. Fladares, please tell me what you believe I need to know in order to reach a decision.
Okay. I told the whole story in mediation, so I'll try to narrow it down to a more succinct story, I guess. Yeah.
I understand that. Just make sure you do indeed tell me the parts that might be legally important here.
Okay.
I understand just wanting to highlight what you've supplied, but I need to hear really ideally in the form of testimony what the situation really is.
Okay. So for the holidays, my husband and I decided we wanted to make our wedding bands better. We both had grown out of them. I'd always wanted to kind of get nicer bands or have nicer bands. So we went to Ellie Jewelers. I had taken a pair of earrings to her in the past, and she fixed the post on the back really well, and in such a nice way. We had decided to go to Ellie Jewelers, and we brought my wedding band, and my husband, of course, brought his wedding band. And the first discussion was about my wedding band, and I worked with Ellie to choose a gem that was, a socially responsible gem to add to my band, and we did that, and then we discussed my husband's wedding band, and she talked about how it would need more gold. And I had brought my father's wedding band with me, and I showed it to them because they would need more gold to make the wedding band that we wanted, which we described that we needed his band. We wanted his band to be like the sizer rings, but not with as sharp of an edge, and easy to take off and on. So thick, not wide, thick. And we knew that my husband's ring was quite a bit bigger than my father's. So my father's band was a lot of gold. It weighed a lot. I knew exactly what it weighed, like in my heart and soul. I knew what it felt like. And so I showed them that band, and she grabbed, I feel like in hindsight, she grabbed the band from me, but that's maybe just how I feel now. But, and she showed her partner the band and was excited, and that, got excited, and he took the band from her and he said, we could sell this from here right now for $1,500. Today we could sell it for $1,500. And at that point, she had laid my husband's narrower, smaller band on the table in front of her. He went to the computer and started typing as we talked about. She talked about how she would do it, put the bands together. I was excited because I had been told by other jewelers that you couldn't put the two together. And so I thought she had an artistic skill that could do it. And so I was real excited about it. And we just wanted a band as, nicer than what we had. And that was a lot of gold to add. I always knew the band would get me a lot of money if I ever needed it. And so I held on to it for 20 years, but I made a good life for myself and never could foresee that I would need to, get it for money. So I just wanted my husband to have the nice band we always wanted. So we left, we came back. They were immediately, she said how she would do it. And then they said they were going to be like immediately on vacation after that. And I said, take your time because we just want a really nice band. And then they called us and said it was done on the 16th, which was to me really soon. I kind of expected it to take longer if you're going to make a really nice band, but it was 4 days before my birthday. And I was kind of excited because I was like, oh, we'll have both of our bands before my birthday. So this gets really hard. So we picked up the bands, and I was more kind of focused on my band, my ring, and the diamond that I got, which is beautiful. And I loved the ring. We went on, we had a meeting with family down south, and it was on the way down there. So we stopped for some lunch after we grabbed the bands. My husband immediately took his off and seemed to be like, and put it down. But do you think you could get used to it? Because I thought maybe it was just that he wasn't used to wearing such a wide band. And I was more looking at mine. We went to lunch. While I was at lunch, my ring kept falling to the side. I called her back from the restaurant, and she said that she could add a couple little pieces of gold to it that would keep it from moving to the side. At lunch, my husband kept taking his off, and anyway, she said, I can fix that. I can add those pieces of gold, but I'd be giving you over $200. I don't remember the exact amount to, add that, free labor and free gold. And I was appreciative of that. And so we, but she made that clear that it was giving me something. And we drove back. She did that. And then we went on to meet our family. And while we were down there, he kept taking it off. And then I picked it up. I held it, and it just didn't feel, it didn't set right with me. Then I had to go for work on an emergency response on the 26th, and I was gone for a while out of town. And while I was away, I wanted to just minimize it so the sadness didn't impact my work. And so I called her and I said I would take, if she would just give me the amount that I paid for labor, just because I wanted it to be over, and I thought maybe that'd make me feel better, but it just kept coming back how distraught I was. So then I sought legal counsel, and that did help some, to go to a lawyer and tell them the story. I also went to K Jewelers, while I was returning something in the mall to just hold a ring that felt like my dad's. I just wanted to hold it again. And I drove across town and I got the ring and I showed them the ring, and they agreed that it was a terrible job. And I also went to Panowitz because I thought maybe they could fix it. And they said they really couldn't fix it. They could add a gold band inside of it, but then they couldn't do anything about the discoloration and the kind of just the messiness of the ring that it is. So she kept reaching out to my husband, and not me. And I was at this point clearly the one that had the problem with the ring, because it didn't feel anything close to what the weight of my dad's ring was, let alone with my husband's band, which wasn't that heavy. So that wasn't, it just didn't even feel like close to my dad's band weight. So I went into Panowitz. They couldn't really fix it. So we went, because she continued to reach out to my husband, we went into her shop again, and I showed it to her, and I said, look at this. Would you wear this? Would anybody wear this as an actual wedding band? I mean, it's sharp on the edge. It's discolored. It's got a warped pattern. It sits on end crooked. And she wouldn't look at it. And she said that it wasn't worth anything to her. Her husband, it wasn't worth anything to her, and that value depends on which side of the counter you're on. And so she basically was saying both Kay Jewelers and Panowitz said it's now worth like maybe $300 at the most. And it was a bit, my father's band alone was worth, I don't know how much. I mean, I never got it appraised. It was just a beautiful, heavy band. And I held bands again. I was just so emotionally distraught that I asked to hold bands at Panowitz as well, so that I could just feel that ring again. It's all I had from my dad, who passed away 20 years ago. And I held on to that ring for 20 years. And I wish I would have never handed it over to anybody, and I shouldn't have. But she did, like I say, she offered to give me the amount that she paid, or that we paid, to put the bands together, but I just couldn't accept that. And again, I was just trying to minimize it all so that it would go away. And I just couldn't seem to get over it. I still can't get over it. I don't have a husband's band. I don't have my father's band now. And I just have this awful band that doesn't weigh nearly what my father's band alone. And the thing is I think they violated, because I heard I needed to find legal, proof, but I do think that they violated Federal Trade Commission Act Section 5, U.S. United States Code 15, I think it is. And I think that they had that they used misleading practices and deceptive acts to make me believe that they documented my dad's ring when they didn't document it at all. They said that the $1,500 ring was my husband's $300 band. And also, when I was at her store, she said, "Do you want to see photos of the rings?" I went around the counter and looked on her computer, and she had 2 pictures of just my husband's narrow $300 band, and never took any pictures of my dad's large band and heavy band. And I don't have any photos of it. I tried to get photos of my dad's band, but he was a body man and mechanic. He painted and primered and restored old cars, and he never wore his band unless it was nice occasions. So every photo that I found, you can't see the band in the photo. I also called Gardner Colorado Jewelers in Iowa, where I'm from, and they only keep records back to 1979, and my parents were married in 1964. So I had no record. I just never thought to have it appraised. And even before I went to them, I looked up, would somebody take jewelry? Would a jeweler take, or would they do something deceptive? And I read online that they wouldn't, that would damage their reputation, and that, so I was trying to, make sure that it would be okay and to take it to them. And I thought I could trust them, and I thought I could take them. And I never told them that I thought that they stole my gold or anything. I just said, I just kept saying, why doesn't it weigh what it weighed? Why doesn't it weigh anything? And she said, because we had to make it bigger. And I said, that doesn't make sense to me though, because if you made it smaller, it would weigh less, but making it bigger wouldn't change the weight of it. It should still, even though it's a bigger size, it would still weigh the same thing. So I just know that they are not going to give me any gold. They think it's giving me gold, but I gave them plenty of gold to make what we were asking for, that we contracted them to make. And so they offered to give me 2 bands or something like that, but then in negotiations said that they would not give me any gold. So I'm not sure. I don't think that they're willing to, what they feel like is give me anything. And that's fine. I just want you to rule in my favor for at least $1,987. I originally asked for $2,237, but I'd be willing to not ask for the legal fees for going to the lawyer, because that was for my mental health, to try to just feel better about the whole situation, which did allow me to sleep a couple nights without waking up in the night crying and worrying and upset about the whole thing. So I feel like it was worth the $250 to talk to the lawyer so I could sleep some. And I don't really know what else to say.
Okay. I may, first, is there anything additional you'd like me to consider?
Well, I feel like I could talk all day long about it and add more. I just feel like there was deceptive acts by not documenting the ring, not weighing it, I did reach out to other jewelers, and they said that yes, best practices is to, and that's all they do, is weigh, photograph, measure the jewelry that they manage, and handle. So I don't know why they didn't do that with my ring, my dad's ring. Yeah, hopefully I can get another band. That I talked to the jewelers. I told them what his looked like. It wasn't just a basic band. I know that's how they treated it. Like it was just a piece of metal. And I feel like they didn't consider it was a family heirloom. My husband's band was a family heirloom, would be someday. And it had, just had a beautiful look to it that, like Panowitz said, that they can't really match exactly, because it had like a peach kind of color to it. And they said it probably had more copper in it, and they don't do that as now, make them look like that. So I thought maybe I would try to do a bunch of research and see if maybe somebody in the world knows somewhere. I started researching. There's a way to find one like that anywhere. So I feel like what I would get anyway, it's not going to be that same exact ring, but I will buy a ring. And it is coincidence that the amount that I'm asking for you to judge in my favor for is about the same cost as the weight of the ring, just ironically, that I held at Panowitz till we got to the weight of my father's band. And that is about the cost minus 10% Washington tax. But that's just, I will buy another band regardless. It doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter the cost. That's not the issue. But it's just, I lost 2 rings ultimately.
Okay. All right, I may have some questions for you. I don't right at the moment. I need to hear the other side. Take a deep breath. And I may or may not have some clarifying questions when we get back. Okay. Ellie Design, in the person of Margaret.
Yeah.
You remain sworn in. What would you like me to know?
Well, that's true. Sabrina did walk into my store and wanted me to perform some repair on her ring, and which we agreed to do. And the one that she's talking about, which is the wedding band of her father, which was a size probably 7.5, 8, and the husband ring, which was probably around 10.5. And then she wanted me to, first of all, they wanted to buy a brand new band, a 8 millimeter flat band with 2 millimeter tape. When I told her the price, they said that was not in their budget. However, she said, I have my father's ring. Do you think you can work with that? And then I said, for what you want, we can take the ring that you have, and then we can fuse them, cut the husband ring into 2 sides, and then pretending that it looks like a flat band because the father had a thin edge. Okay? So we will fuse them and then put them together and solder them so you can have the width. But what we didn't take into consideration, when you increase something from 8 to 11.5, we stretch it on a med roll, and then the ring expand, get thinner. So when she cut the ring, obviously they wear the ring, they took it, they signed, they were happy and everything. And then when they come back to the store, they say they were unhappy. And then I offered them, probably if you really want that ring, the way that you want it, I can make you a new ring at no charge for my labor, but I will want you to pay me the extra gold that we to make that ring that size for you, And then the second thing, the reason that we offer her that was because she was so emotionally attached to her father's ring. Then I told them, and they go, no, I don't want to pay that. And then I said, well, I can melt the ring. There's other processes that we can do. We can melt it and then put it on a rolling machine and then flatten it, and then you can have that. But that will be your goal only, right? The husband was excited, but she was not excited. She wanted me to give her a new ring that she said that she brought me, and she accused me in front of many customers that I was deceitful, then that I took her ring. I said, no, I am willing to work with you, if you want me to give you a new ring, but I'm not going to give you a new gold because you don't have that, what you want me to do. So later on, excuse me, I'm a little bit emotional. Later on, I called the husband and then I said, okay, what would you like to do? It's not worth the energy for you to have a wedding ring that you have so much emotion attached to it and we don't want to be tied to that type of energy. Okay, give me a design that you like, and then we will make you that ring, but whatever extra gold that it need, you will have to provide us that extra gold, and then we'll make you the ring. You don't have to pay anything for that, for the labor or anything of the sort. So I thought that was pretty fair of my side, because I wanted them to be happy. Then she called, she wanted the money back, the $400 that they pay me to do the labor. So I said, okay, I'll give you the $400 back, She called the store 6, 7 times on my day off, leave me many different messages, and then I said, okay, we are willing to give you the money back, but you have to come to the store and sign a paper that you received that money, and then we close the matter, and then I said, the offer still stands if you want to have that to be done, but I'm not going to give you money. I'm not going to buy extra gold to give you extra gold because you demand it, but my labor, it's okay. It's my time. So that was where we stand at. And then a few weeks, I think a month ago or something, we received a court order that. And then so I had several calls from the mediator. They asked me if I'm willing to work with her. I said, yeah, I'm giving her, this is my situation, and that's what we can do. We can work it out, and but she doesn't want to work it out. I cannot bring her father back. I cannot bring the ring back, but I can melt the metal of the ring that she claimed that she loved that energy. I can melt it and put it back to a flat band that her husband can have, but I'm not willing to go and give 2 millimeter thick of gold for, so that's, and I have the paper. When she picked up her thing, she signed it. She said she's okay with it. And in business, it's not about just the person, it's about responsibility. And I thought I was doing a good job. But if she feels it's unfair, we even offer her to give her the husband band, buy her a brand new band, and then buy the size 7 that her father had, a round band, and give her 2 bands, as long as she give us the other band back, because she wants the other band, she wants this, she wants that. I think that's unfair to me, but probably to her it's not. But I cannot bring her father back.
Okay. I might have some more questions for you.
Yeah.
I might not. Is there anything else before I hear from Ms. Fladaris? Is there anything else you would like me to consider?
I'm not really sure what's the next step for consideration.
That's all right. You don't have to have anything else.
Yeah,
I just
think we would want to work with her in an harmonious situation where she's happy, but I cannot make her happy.
Okay.
And if it's money only that make her happy, and I'm not willing to give her the money that she feels that she should have. When I offer her, I can buy her the band exactly. I can make her the band. So.
All right. As I said, I may have some more clarifying questions in a little bit. Ms. Fladaris, I did review your exhibits, and I do have a couple questions, and actually they're going to wind up probably being similar questions for each of you. Your father's band, not to be impersonal on this, but did you ever, I believe your testimony was you had never had it appraised. Did you ever weigh it or for insurance purposes see even an estimate of what it might be covered for?
I did not.
Okay. And obviously, the heart attachment, there's no monetary way to make that part correct. All right. I believe I have a pretty good understanding of the situation. Margaret, would you describe for me when someone leaves with you materials to create something new or to work with, could you just give me a description of your process when you take those items in?
Okay, what we do is that we do have a camera. We take a picture of the item that we have. Okay, and then no matter if the ring is worth from other side, if they have worn it for a long time, the ring is not worth that. Whatever the item is. So what we do, we put a value on the item that come into the store, and then just in case if something fire happen, anything happens, so we don't want the client to go to a different process of trying to find exactly. So we put a value that, okay, if this happened, the insurance will give you that value for that so it's covered. So if something happened to me or anything of the sort, so they have no issue of replacing the item.
Okay.
However, the item that we have for me, Sabrina, was for the two ring that she had in the store, her husband ring and the father's ring replacement value. Are these worth that on street value? No. But since they are in my care, I put that value in it just in case something happened.
Okay.
And that's registered into the receipt. And they sign the receipt of the custom job that they asked for the repair, and it explained to them what we were supposed to do.
And I did review the documents you supplied. And actually, now that I'm taking a quick look at them again, your last name is indeed Ellie. I could have been calling you Ms. Ellie this whole time. Which would you setting
Ellie,
aside the case?
It's fine.
Pardon?
It's fine. Ellie, Margaret, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just reviewing the documents really quickly one more time on both sides. Just making sure that I have a good understanding of the situation and that I am not missing anything. Each of your exhibits on each side match fairly closely with what your testimony has been today. Realistically, I know this is going to be difficult, but what I am seeing is that the emotional attachment to the ring may have affected how it was perceived. I certainly don't know, but this is the situation I was talking about in advance, where some people are going to be very unhappy with my decision. It does appear to me, based on the testimony and the facts as I see them, that the ring that was received was, even if the work was not up to the standard you had wished, it appears to me that it was a combination of the two rings, and that simply expanding it to a larger size, although that wouldn't change the weight, I think some of the handheld weight may have come from the heart. I don't know that, of course, but that is what I'm getting here. I don't have weights and estimates and sizes from you, Ms. Fladaris. What I do have are Ms. Ellie's testimony and her description of the items that came into her store, into her shop. I am ruling in favor of Ellie Design. I am dismissing this matter. You are absolutely welcome to appeal my decision. That is your legal right, but that is my decision. And I know it's very difficult for you, but that is my ruling. I will be signing the order. Actually, I don't necessarily even have to because of my ruling, but I am dismissing the claim. If you would like a copy of this document, it will be available in the court file. That's it for this morning. I appreciate that you took the time to be here. You are all free to go if you choose. I believe that was the last matter on my calendar.
So, like I said, fairly emotional case. I do think that the judge made the correct decision. I wish that Ms. Vladaris had had more evidence, and I do wish that the business had had better business practices in documenting the weight of the ring. It could come across like they deliberately don't, so that there's no paper trail against them, but I don't think that's what happened there. That's just my personal gut feeling. So let me know what you think in the comments. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. Take care.